What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right. So before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to the brother JJ Phantom for the donation to the channel via the Cash App. Much respect to you for showing love once again to Too Raw for TV. Salute to you, brother. And to my haters, thank you for the views. So, LeBron Ramon James, right? Already, you can see them coming up. You know, him, his sycophants, the media, the fanboys. That's the pecking order as far as them brainstorming for the next excuse. We all know that he's been struggling mightily. I mean, I've never seen him struggle for this amount of games, for this duration. Remember, this is a guy, especially from outside shooting. This is a guy that at one point in the season was shooting like 46, 47% from outside, which I knew was a mirage. I knew that it wasn't sustainable. Now, he did shoot extremely well last year. But whatever the case is, age, attrition, maybe, you know, somebody is off of something. I don't know. But his three-point percentage has plummeted from 47% to 34% after last night's performance, which is actually right on par with his career norm, right? But below league average. So anyway, I remember when he went to the bench after he got his mandated double-digit scoring because, he had to get that. The NBA gave him a convenient foul so he could shoot free throws. But anyway, I noticed he was like flexing his hand while he was on the bench. You know, in his mind, he got a signal to the troops, some sort of excuse. Oh, see LeBron's hand. It's his hand, you know. So anyway, JJ Redick comes out and says that they are looking to load manage LeBron, right? And so now the excuse is, well, he needs to load manage because he's old, right? That's just his common sense, right? Well, I mean, you know, he's older, his legs aren't under him, blah, 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 yakking and schmacking, right? Even LeBron Ramon James is starting to walk back to 82 games. He's starting to put on a bunch of qualifiers now. This dude is a trip, man. I swear this guy never holds responsibility or accountability on anything. Earlier this year, nobody asked him about 82 games. Nobody kept pestering him about it. He brought the shit up. Yeah, you know, one of my goals, I'm going to try to play 82 games this year. You know, as long as everything stays everything, I'm going to play 82 games. He declared that shit. Why? Because MJ played 82 games when he was 39, 40 years old. Despite the fact that his body was hurting. Despite the fact that he didn't have the same endurance and stamina as he did in his prime. But he gutted it out. He did it. As a matter of fact, he averaged, I think, 37 minutes a night. But already, just, a quarter into the season, LeBron Ramon James is showing that he ain't Michael Jordan. Tired, fatigued. The league already done walk back to backs. Done walk them back to the point where they only have about 9 or 10 of them a year. But he can't do it. Why? Because he ain't Michael Jordan. And that's despite getting allegedly help from outside sources. And I ain't talking about the officiating either. Michael Jordan was just built differently, man. And I'm not talking from an athletic perspective because by that point in time, Jordan's athleticism was nearly gone. It's the will. Michael Jordan's will was just on another level. And very few players possess that level of will I mean, we're talking about all of the greats. We're talking about Jordan. We're talking about Kobe. We're talking about Bird and Bill Russell and Magic. The indomitable will to go out there and perform every single night, to put on blinders from the outside world and do what has to be done. The commitment to the game. These are things that these individuals display. I know people don't like to think about this or add him to this perspective or equation, but I think Will Chamberlain belongs in that conversation. This man came back from an injury that to this day still threatens the careers of NBA players if it happened to them. That knee/leg injury would have ended the career of anybody else, but his will to come back and to work at coming back, because a lot of people said his career was over. He came back from an injury that still today can often take 2 years to come back from with most players. He came back, I think it was in 5 months. But, these guys ain't built the same, man. And, it's funny because Mike was out there playing defense. He wasn't low managing. He went out there taking breaks on the defensive side of the ball. He was playing hard. He wasn't the same player. But he was going out there and facing the challenge. And oftentimes, at age 40, he was going up and guarding the other team's best player. Just like when he went on national television and shut down Vince Carter in a nationally televised game. Just like when he went out there and competed against Paul Pierce. When he went out there competing against Tracy McGrady. Sometimes he got lit up. But he went out there and played defense. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember a game when Kobe Bryant and the Lakers, I think Shaq was out at this time. I might have been during that stretch when Kobe had like the 8 or 9 40-point games in a row. Might have been around that stretch. Kobe went out there and scored 42 points in the first half, 14 and 16 shooting. I'll never forget the game. And Kobe was absolutely lighting up Tyronn Lue or whoever was on the team at that point in time. I think it was Tyronn Lue, sometimes on them. Sometimes I think it was Jerry Stackhouse. He lit him up. Mike said, enough of this. I'm going to take on the challenge of guarding Kobe. Kobe still had 55 points, but Mike held him to 13 points in the second half, 1 of 13 shooting. Why? Because Michael Jordan loved the challenge. Now he knew he couldn't contain Kobe probably for the entire game, but he gutted out and more than contained Kobe in the second half. He was still effective on defense. I still remember a game that came on national television. I think they were playing the Knicks, the Wizards, and he shut down Latrell Sprewell, who was at that point about a decade younger than him. He shut down Latrell Sprewell, who was grabbing loose balls, diving for loose balls, playing hard on both ends of the floor. I think they lost that game. But people was praising Michael Jordan's performance because he was the most energetic guy out there on the field. Out there on the court, excuse me. LeBron doesn't do that. LeBron gets cherry points for what? Being 40? That's it. He gets praised for being 40. And another thing, before I end this video, I don't ever want to hear you talk about Michael Jordan's shooting percentage. Because as you all knew, but you just conveniently chose to ignore, being that age and playing defense takes something out of you. So a lot of times he was off on his shooting. But he never used that as an excuse. Well, look, the only reason why I didn't make my shot tonight is because we played back-to-backs. And this is the second of back-to-back. So, my legs, man, they tired. I ain't young like I used to be, If this was 5-6 years ago in Chicago, it'd have been on. I'd have had about 40 or 50, But yeah, I gotta take my shot, This is be expected. I'm 40 years old. He never talked like that. He never talked like that. This dude and his fan base make the most excuses I've ever seen in my life, man. But I don't know who's gonna be worse, man. This fan base is terrible. But at the same time, I'm telling you, I'm starting to despise Jokic fans, man. You critique this guy one time, and you guys have a disagreement, and I'm getting called a racist. I'm getting called all this a hater off of one video I'm critiquing Jokic. I'm telling you, man, I don't know what's wrong with today's fans, bro. They're delusional. They're pathological. They try to bully you off your position. I'm telling you, man, that's why NBA ratings are going down, because we don't want to deal with the game or you sick ass fanboys. We don't want to deal with you guys. So people, you know what I'm saying, gravitating to other sports, baseball, football, even though they got their bullshit. Hell, hockey. Why? Maybe because their fan base have more intelligence. They have more of an appreciation of the history of the game. But as I said before, there's a tie-in with the lack of history being appreciated in our own community not knowing and appreciating their history. Because you know about half of the NBA fan base, well, you know, I don't want to go down that road. But it's by design. They try to manipulate and separate us and keep us at war with one another. But you know, when I do that, I'm preaching. I'm on my soapbox talking about something. Man, we ain't trying to hear all that. We ain't trying to hear all that, man. But anyway, LeBron James can't do what Michael Jordan did. Play 82 games at age 40 because he ain't Mike. He can't do it. Karl Malone could do it too, by the way. Karl Malone was 40 years old. Well, I take that back. His last year he got hurt. But if it wasn't for that injury though, he would have played 80, 81, 82 games too. Those guys was built different, man. They felt a dedication, they felt an obligation to go out there and play. So what's going to happen now is, because he gave a whole bunch of qualifiers. When asked about the 82 game thing, the guy who proclaimed without nobody asking him whether he was going to play 82 games, that he was going to do it. Now when they ask him, I don't want to talk about that right now. You know, there's a lot of different factors involved. Yeah, because you want to give yourself enough wiggle room so that you don't look like a hypocrite. Now you know that you can't do it. So what's going to happen now is the media is going to justify him load managing because he's 40 years old. That's what they're going to do. Well, I mean, he's 40 years old. LeBron, he deserves this. What he done to the game, blah, 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 yakety smack. Nobody want to hear that shit, man. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it.